Hey, it's Lisa here with your love note for January 22nd. So the guides came in this morning and they had something very specific they wanted me to talk about, and it happens to be sex. So let's talk about sex, baby. Yeah, that's all the singing I'm doing for your benefit. So the reason that they want to talk about this particular topic has to do with reminding us of our own inner sexual sacred power and the importance of that, not only in our connection to ourselves and to others in terms of partners, if we happen to have one or not, but also in terms of connection with the divine. Now, the reason that they said that this is like particularly important to address right now is that as we're in a process of harnessing and like anchoring in more higher energy levels of light and love on the planet, one of the things we also have to do is clear out all that is not that. And they specifically said that for many of us, it's the baggage that we carry in our sacral chakra. The sacral is like the second chakra. Chakra is a spinning wheel of energy. It's located about 2 inches below the belly button and in the middle of your body. But that so many people on the planet carry so much baggage, whether in the form of shame or trauma or guilt or aggression or toxic and unhealed space and energy within their sacral area, having to do with anything that might be sexually, oriented. It also affects like creativity, your ability to receive abundance or help from others, or, even the ability to receive a compliment, something as simple as that. But that for so many of us, because there has been such a societal stigma put on sex, sexuality, sensuality, passion, showing up in your full, big, bold, juicy, vibrant self, that we've shut down, many people have shut down their sacral center. And I had one client recently, the way she described it was just so telling. We were doing a meditation that had to do with the chakras. And when she got to her sacral chakra, she said, it just felt to me like it was a little shriveled up chicken nugget. Not exactly big and vibrant and juicy and, full of passion, but a little shriveled up chicken nugget. She said at one time, at least it was a spicy chicken nugget, but now it's just shriveled up. A lot of folks are feeling that. I've heard people talk about how either for themselves or even their partners kind of lost the spark, the sexual, sensual, creative, flow-oriented spark, and would kind of like to get it back. And this conversation is really twofold. Number one, it's about recognizing that for many of us, there is clearing to do in the sacral chakra. So clearing of anything, the energies, the memories, the thoughts, feelings, beliefs, the societal stigmas, whatever it is that might get in the way of us owning our full sexual, sensual capacity and power. And when I say power, I never, ever, ever mean it in a power over people sort of way, but rather in a personal empowerment, the ability to hold as much energy as you possibly can and wield it for good in the world. Okay, so this isn't a new topic for me. Some of you have been paying attention. This is something that my guides came to me well over 2 years ago and said, hey, we need you talking about this. And I kind of threw a little tantrum fit because this isn't really the conversation I was wanting to have. You can hear that whole story. I put a link down below to a Mo Monday's speech that I gave in Canada that kind of describes, a lot of what was going on with that. But it'll give you kind of the background. They have prodded and pushed on many other occasions. For those of you who remember, Elise Shellman and I did the OMG Spot podcast last year. Had so much fun with that, talking about the sacred elements of pleasure and working with the sacral chakra and with your inherent energy to really expand upon and harness the power of that sacral energy to the benefit of an amazing number of areas within your life, from relationships to connection to your own pleasure and creativity, ability to receive prosperity, so many different aspects, but also just the idea of amplified energy. I mean, like feeling good, feeling better. And I'm not just talking for, 20 seconds and a big exhale. I'm talking feeling better all day long. So this is a fascinating topic to me, and one that I've been really hesitant to talk too much about, too openly and publicly. But today, apparently, that stops, because my guides came in. They said, hey, need you to actually start leading on this in a bigger way. And they felt me resist. And, they felt me getting ready to throw a little bit of a fit. And they said, hey, do we need to ask you, to like a vow of celibacy until you actually, do this? And I'm like, oh God, don't do that. And I'm like, wait a minute, how would that really be all that different than what I'm living right now? We joke back and forth that way. But it became really clear it's time. And part of the reason it's past time, but part of the reason it's particularly important now is because where we are headed energetically, it's important that we not take all this baggage with us. Now, most of us don't mean to be hanging on to the baggage. We might not even know that the baggage is there, or we might have been trying to heal the baggage on a whole bunch of different levels and not addressing it at the energetic level, and therefore we haven't been able to alchemize or transmute that energy into something much more powerful. So when I talk about sexual alchemy, there's really a couple of different components, but one is really, first of all, acknowledging this innate, incredible power within you that every single one of us has, that we can use and amplify and harness for good in all aspects of our life if we so choose. Number two, looking at all the ways that we get in the way of that energetically, either through blockages or thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, whatever, that gets in the way. How to get beyond the societal crap that, really is meant to keep us disempowered by cutting us off from one of our most empowering energetic centers and keeping us small. And quite frankly, are we done with that yet? Can we just be done with playing small because it makes other people feel better or makes other people, have more power over us? There are a lot of folks who may be inherently triggered by this conversation at all. Oh my God, the blonde woman's now talking about sex. And okay. I get it. I get that sex and talking about sexual power can be a triggering conversation. If you find yourself being triggered, if you find yourself being frustrated or like getting that lump in your stomach or whatever, it might be that this is an area of potential healing for you. And that this might be an area of real growth and harnessing your own power in such a way that is very positive and productive and empowering in your own life. Just trying to see what else the guides had to say. That shame and fear, guilt and aggression, all of those things can really cause our sacral center to constrict and be like restrictive or constricting in a way that blocks off connection, whether it's connection with ourselves, connection with our partners, if we have one, the other people in our lives, even connection with the divine. And so when we can open that center back up energetically and allow for the receptivity, allow for the connection, for the flow of energy there, the creativity, the passion, all of that, then it's expansive in nature rather than constrictive in nature. And that expansiveness really does influence and affect all the other energy centers in our body as well. They also said that, for many people, that this is just such a huge, massive power center within our bodies, that sensuality and creativity. I mean, when you think about creativity, the sacral chakra is legitimately the womb of creation, right? For women, I mean, literally the womb of creation. For men, your sacral chakra is there as well, and also houses that sensuality, that passion, that creativity, that receptivity, the ability to receive. I mean, so many things that are so important to both genders. But especially when it comes to connection and receptivity, a willingness to be seen, and our own personal expression, to show up from our own inner power and express it in a way that connects with other people. They said it's time to reclaim it. We need to reclaim our sensual power from the shame. We need to reclaim it from any embarrassment of having conversations about this particular topic. That all of this, any shame or embarrassment or an unwillingness to even discuss this most human part of us. When you think of it, we wouldn't be here, right, if not for this conversation. That when we can address it and heal it, well, they said that not addressing it leads to unhealed expressions of sensuality. So the toxic or the wounded expressions, or simply no expression at all. We just shut it all down. And the receptivity, the creativity, the passion for life in general, all the things that can go along with that. So, if the conversation is loaded with so much baggage from all sides in our society that we don't even address it, then we're really missing a boat in terms of healing one of the most important parts of us and one of the most damaged parts within society when we think about how society approaches conversations about sex and self-love, pleasure, whatever. So they wanted me to come talk about this today. Not just today. Apparently, this is something I'm going to be talking about a lot, probably not necessarily in these love notes every time, but they have encouraged me to go ahead and launch a program and to actually start talking about this in a bigger way for those of you who are interested. So down below, you're going to see some links. You'll see the link to the speech that I gave up in Canada in December of, I think, 2019. You'll see a link to a free webinar that I'll be hosting on Thursday. I think it's January 28th at 7 p.m. Central Time, just to talk about, it's an introduction to sexual energy alchemy, to kind of give the background, the whys, the whos. This is ancient wisdom. I mean, this conversation has been around from seriously ancient times. Ancient Egyptians, that's, where I've seen so much of that of the conversation, as well as faith traditions since then, even because they recognize the connection between sexual energy and also being able to reach those states of enlightenment and empowerment to connect with the divine. So we'll have that conversation on the 28th if you're interested. Also launching a program. So that's going to launch the week of Valentine's Day. And so it'll be an 8-week program where we will work. It'll be a group program, but where we will dive into all of the elements of this, all of it. Come ready to play. It'll be online. It'll have the most epic homework ever. So I'll promise you that. It's going to be fun. And I'm finally ready. They've been pushing and prodding, and I just wasn't ready yet. There was still stuff within me that I needed to heal. And I've been working on that a lot over the past 2 years and really allowing this wisdom, this understanding, this processing and personal application to come through in a much bigger way. And so now, instead of being scared and deciding to hide under a rock and not have this conversation out in public and Facebook Lives and other ways, I'm here and I'm ready. And all day since the guides came in this morning, it's like my higher self, my soul's been going, woohoo, woohoo, we're going to have some fun, woohoo. So dancing, singing. And to me, when I know to follow my joy, when I know to follow like whatever that is that brings me bliss or that makes me want to dance and sing, that makes my heart happy and my sacral go, woohoo, then I know I'm on the right path. So I'm going to have some fun, and I am inviting you to come and have some fun with me. If you have questions, please let me know. The guides also wanted to remind you, of course, to remember that you are always loved. And this sexual energy alchemy route is actually a way that you can remember to love yourself, because the whole process is rooted in this idea of self-acceptance, self-compassion, self-love first, because until we have it first there, including with our sexual energy, including with the way that we perceive and appreciate our bodies, then it's really hard to do that in a genuine, open, receptive, loving, connected way with somebody else. So I would love to answer questions. I hope that you'll come join me on the free webinar on January 28th. And in the meantime, have a beautiful day. And remember, you are loved and invited to pay that love forward. See ya.